Yeah, so today's conversation is starting, and my name is Afola Kemi, and I have my co-host here, Didi, and we're going to be talking about, is one's purpose in life the same with their occupation? And when I started thinking about this, it was just about the fact that sometimes we're doing something, you're working at a job, and you don't feel motivated about it, and there is always that conflict of thoughts and the battle of the mind as regards what should I do and what should I be doing. And and for me personally, you're thinking, should my job be all the things I need to do, or should I have various things that I can do? And there's also the fact that I'm always thinking of the need to focus on one thing and be so good at it, and the need that you can do so many things and be good at so many things. You know, there's this adage that people say and be like, what do they call it? Like, that you do so many things that you're master of none. Do you know that adage?
Yeah.
How do they say it actually? I can't remember how it's been said, but yeah, like, oh my God, that's probably, it's like a quote, like, you do so many things and then you're a master of none. I can't remember right now, but when you remember, Didi, let me know. So the question just comes like, what is purpose? Is purpose my occupation? Is what motivates me? Can it be the same thing as what I do every morning? Maybe yes, maybe no. But then if my purpose can be described as a goal or something that motivates me each and every day, then if I find that in what I do, that would be a great thing. But does everybody find that in what they do? Especially when it comes to like people living in developing countries, and the fact that there are times that we have to start with what we don't have, what we don't really want sometimes, and you're working towards what you really want. And also the fact that sometimes when one starts in life, you might not really know what purpose is, you might not know what you're called to do in life, you know. And yeah, that was just my foundation of the question, and I've just been thinking about it, and I'm thinking it's something to actually talk about. So what are your thoughts, Didi, on this?
Okay, for me, purpose, I'll basically agree with what you just said, that purpose is something that drives you, something that when you wake up every morning, you know that, okay, you can't know what you live for, but then you know that you find joy doing this thing. And then at times, I also like go through phases where I'm like, what if what I'm doing is not my purpose, and I just feel is my purpose because like I'm happy doing it and all that. But then I feel like your purpose is something you can't determine yourself. You have to like talk to God about it sometimes, because at a point in my life, I was confused on what to do in terms of choosing a course and choosing a career. And like everybody was already deciding, oh, I'm going to be a medical doctor. And then me, I was just there like, what am I going to do? I was basically just asking like, what am I doing here? Like, what is my goal here? And then I would write things, I would go online to check for things. But then I realized that it was when I started talking to God about it, I got a better understanding of what my purpose was. I realized things I didn't even know I could do. So I feel like if you want to, you can know your purpose. At the same time, you cannot know your purpose. But then you can know your purpose if you talk to God about it, and then you just realize that whenever you do this thing, it yields positive results, and then you're comfortable doing this thing. It's not like you're being forced to do it. You just find joy in doing it, irrespective of the condition or what you get from it. But then it's just something you do, and then it makes you happy to do it.
Okay, that's actually interesting. But when you said that, you can know your purpose, and sometimes you can know your purpose. Actually, that was something actually that actually struck me, because I feel like you can know your purpose, but then you know it over time. And I feel like is a learning, knowing your purpose like a learning process as regards you might not actually know your purpose, or you might think something is your purpose at first, and then it evolves. Like it might change. So what you think that it's your purpose, I can when I was 18, what I thought I was going to do was different, is different to what I'm actually doing now. But to be fair, it's not like far apart. Do you get? So I had a foundation, like, because sometimes like I had like the things that I have now, or the skills that I have now, they were already there before. But it's just that now I can better harness it, and I know exactly that, oh yes, this is where I fit in. But before, it was more like maybe like an hobby, or it was something that it was just there. I knew that I could do it, but I wasn't really doing it. I just knew it was there, or it wasn't something I had improved upon. And then, or maybe, for example, then I knew that, okay, I like analyzing things. I like to like do research and search for stuff, but I was just doing them on my own. Or when somebody asked me something, I just knew I would just search for everything. Or when I'm thinking about something, I tend to read a lot, and I search for everything, and I read everything. I can remember like those days, like there was no book in my house I didn't read. I read everything. My dad's book, any book in my house. It came to a point like there was no book in my house that I had not read, except they just bought it or somebody just gave us that book. Like I had read everything. Like I was just like, but then I didn't know where that could fit in. I didn't know that I could use that thing. But then it might also be a learning process. Okay, I love to read, but then I was accumulating knowledge. And at some point in time, it was something I was going to use. So that was something that, so it would evolve, but then I feel like it's something that would have been there even before you actually know it. But then there's always the challenge of, which was something that there's always the challenge of parenting and trying to be there, trying to actually come to the fullness of your purpose. Because people say this like, are leaders born or made? And when you put that in the context of finding your purpose and trying to do the things that you're called to do, there are times that even as a young person, like maybe you're 18, you're 16, and you're trying to find, because those skills, those talents are there, and they might be what is driving you to say, oh yes, I want to be a footballer, for example. It might be that deep in your heart, you feel like that's where you are. And then you'll be like, I want to go to a football academy, for example, or I want to go to like a writing school or a fashion school, for example. But then there's always the conflict of your parents saying, no, you can't go to a fashion school. Or what is fashion? Like, what do you want to do with fashion? But then there's that natural, like you just like it. And that's where you want to be. But then it doesn't make sense to people around you. And then they'll just be like, no, you can't go to a fashion school. And then the thought is, how do you now explain? Because as a teenager or as a young person, sometimes you might not be able to like communicate that. You probably don't have the necessary resources, in quotes, to justify that to your parents as regards how this could actually fetch you money and all that, especially if they are not enlightened enough in that area, that kind of a thing. So how do you now gather? How do you now how do you as a person have been able to say, I found this? Because you said you talked to God, you did this, you did that, and you're able to say, okay, I think I found something, at least. When, as much as I didn't want to make this, when Elijah said, when Elijah told the servant to go, was it Elijah or Elisha? And the guy said, I saw a hand. And then you can be like, oh yes, I think I have an inkling of what exactly I would do. And this part or this course would take me down there. How do you actually how did you sell that to your parents, for example?
Okay. Yeah. Then what I initially wanted to do then was law. Okay. That was basically because my elder sister was studying law, and then I really admired that aspect and everything. But later on, when I realized this law thing wasn't really, at a point, I wasn't feeling it again. It was almost like I lost it totally. Like I found myself in a wrong location, let's put it like that. So the first question was, how am I going to tell them that I don't longer want to do law? And I'm like, okay, what I now felt then was that I would go into theater arts because I could act. I'm like, so would I say I'm leaving law? Because in Nigeria, for example, law, medicine, all those engineering courses are like the main. You can, if they refer my sister as barrister something, and then when it's my turn, there is nothing to put in front of my name, that kind of thing. So I'm like, how am I going to tell them that I don't feel like doing law again? This is what I think I want to do now. But then each time my mom always told me something that she would never force our opinion on what you should become, that if this is what you want to do, and you know that this is what your mind wants you to do, I would never say, okay, don't do this. Okay, this is better. So I think it was just luck that I had that kind. But I've met people that they would want to. There was this particular girl in my class, then she wanted to go into this fashion thing. And then her dad was so strict that he said she has to do medicine. Like she was in art class then, but then at a point her dad told her she could not do the art again, that she should move to science class and everything. But then every time, you know, when you see someone and you know that, okay, this is not what this person wants to do, as far is not flowing with person at all, no matter how she explained to them, she told them the job opportunities that she could get from it, but then they were not just agreeing to it. So, but she went ahead, like nothing, it was like nothing could stop her. So I feel like once you know that this is what you're doing, whether anybody is going to complain about, yes, we should listen to our parents, but whether anybody is going to, at a point when they see that, okay, yes, this thing is yielding positive results for this person, they tend to like change their mind that, okay, maybe we should leave her or leave him to do what he wants to do. And let's just be there to guide him if anything goes wrong. So I feel like they would be bitter at first, but then with time, they would see the need, they would see why you chose this and why this is best for you.
What about the fact that, you mentioned something about what would be in front of my name, barrister and all that. Some people get caught up in reputation, like, I did my PhD, now I'm now a doctor. At least when somebody's addressing me, they will address me as so. Does that really matter when it comes to finding your purpose? Because there's so many people, like a footballer would not necessarily have anything in front of their names.
Yes.
Do you get in front of their name? Because but then they are happy in whatever they're doing and they're doing it very well. Do you get? I don't know, like people that sing sometimes, well, maybe they will put minister, so depending on the kind of songs that they sing, but it's not everybody that gets to have that title. But does reputation really matter when it comes to, like, when I mean reputation, like what people think, let me put it that way, what people think or what other people think, does it really matter in choosing or in deciding on what you want to do?
No, I don't think it matters. I feel like you should work on you as a person, not the title in front of your name. You should work on the fact that when people hear this name, they know this is what this person stands for, this is what this person does, without necessarily putting doctor or whatever in front of your name. Let people know who you are, not what they call you. So I don't think it matters.
But isn't that a challenge sometimes for people? Like, what they want to be might just be as something as not so fashionable, not so reputable as maybe they want to make shoes. Somebody can have a dream of, they can end up being the best shoemaker in the world, and have manufacturing companies. But at that stage, it's just because obviously they're not going to start off with, except maybe if their dad is like maybe Dangote or Adenuga and can just set up that company and they become, but if it's somebody that their parents they're not that privileged, let me put it that way, and they have to start small. And it's like, I finished secondary school, okay. I think I want to go and learn a trade on how to make shoes. Don't really waste your money in sending me to uni to study whatever. Like, I could learn all those business techniques while I am doing in advanced countries, they have something called apprenticeship. They can end up giving you like a certificate or a degree. I know we don't have something like that in some developing countries, like where you just go, it's like more or less like a school, but you're practically learning a trade. And it could be fashion designing or whatever. So what you do, they call it sometimes apprentice, sometimes like a college, and all you do is you're learning the exact thing you want to do. So by the time you finish, you're just a fashion designer or you're just a shoemaker. So, but in Nigeria, obviously, that would not be the case. You might have to go to like maybe a cobbler or somebody that is already doing that thing and say, or better still, there's a manufacturing company and be like, I want to just join them, like maybe as a trainee, and I want to start at 16. I want to just start learning how to make shoes. And for the next 4 years, I just want to be good at that, or at baking. I just want to be good at that. And that, what do you think? Like, that is not something that people would actually, people might laugh at you. And those are challenges, those are pressures that might actually force someone to say, maybe I was just going to do business administration. Then afterwards, I would now go and learn, or maybe while I'm studying, I'll be doing the thing small underneath, or I'll be doing part-time. And I think that I remember when I was in uni, there were so many people like that. They're studying medicine, but they are very good at baking. And while they're doing their course, they are always baking and baking cakes for people and selling. And they were using it not because they needed money, but because they enjoyed it and they were using it as a source of living. And then they were very good at it. And some of them have actually graduated and finished the medical, and they're still baking. And the funny thing is, sometimes that baking could actually take them farther than the medicine that they studied. But because of the reputation with, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm a medical doctor, they might never leave that medical doctor. Not like it's bad to be a medical doctor, but you know how prestigious it could be. And also job-wise or monetary-wise, financial-wise, it could be like, but then there are times whereby that baking could take them worldwide and they would just never know because they would never take that leap. How do you see this? Like, what do you think about it? Okay. Is it a challenge that you have thought about?
Yes, it's a challenge. It's something I've experienced before going to uni. Okay, so then I was meant to apply to this school and then their admissions closed, unfortunately, like few weeks before I applied. So
was it unfortunately? Sorry, was it unfortunately or fortunately?
At that point, it was
unfortunately. Okay.
It was so painful because I had the JAMB score, I had everything to enter. It was just the fact that I missed their deadline. So I had to like take JAMB again, all over again, reading those books and everything. But then before I took JAMB, I started this personal nails business. Mm-hmm. So then when I was advertising, sharing to people and all that, I would hear comments like from my friends. There was even one time that I saw these screenshots from a group chat and then they were like, oh, maybe probably she didn't pass one exam and now she can't go to school. This is what she has to do and all that. So for me, yes.
So people were talking about you.
Yeah. It would pain me.
It's because you didn't go to uni. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, that now that she's not in uni, so maybe this is the last card or something like that. Yeah. Yes, it will pain me, but then I just realized that every time I did nails, I was comfortable with the fact that I was doing nails. I would hear those comments, but it didn't stop me from doing nails and it didn't stop me from reading either. Mm-hmm. So I took JAMB then. And I passed and I got the admission. So I went to school. So everybody would be confused, like, what is what is going
What's
on?
going on?
And then all of a sudden, this whole press-on nails business went really far, even more than I expected. And then my mom then was surprised because every morning then I won't have customers, but then I'll wake up every morning, make nails like I have one important order to do. And my mom would just be like, you that are making nails, who will buy these nails and all these things? I'm like, when my customers come, it will surprise you. So I just kept on doing it and doing it and doing it. Only for, it got to a point where I was just like, maybe I should pause and take some time off, because it was taking most of my time there. If I was not doing nails, it would be maybe I'm thinking about one new design and all that. So I just feel like if you know that you find joy in doing this particular thing, you shouldn't like listen to, yes, you would hear in life, even if you are the nicest person, people would still find something to say about you. People would still try to bring you down. So I feel like you shouldn't focus. They will keep talking, whether you stop it or you even if you, let's, for that baking thing, for example, let's say that person stops baking. People would say, oh, why did she stop? And this thing was giving her money. Is she meant to stop? That kind of thing. If she continues, they will say, oh, this person is a medical doctor. Instead of this person to be doing this, she's there baking and all that. So people will keep talking, but I don't feel like talking should, you listening to other people's comments should stop you from doing what you want to do. I feel like if you focus on what you want to do, there'll be a point where all those comments won't mean anything to you again. Yeah.
And also, I would just add to your comments that, you know, when we relate purpose to God calling us, it also, I read somewhere and it says that when God spoke to you, it wasn't your conference call. So it wasn't like everybody was there, you know, it is to you. And those things, and I believe that when the Holy Spirit is in you and you're talking and you're thinking about so many things, obviously that is your mind aligned with God's thoughts towards you. So whatever you're trying to do is also you being led, as long as it's not like you're doing something illegal or whatever. So it's also you being led towards the path that you're supposed to take. So at the end of the day, to all work together for your good, you know, that kind of a thing. So I believe that, I believe that. So another thing that actually comes to mind is the fact that finding your purpose early in life and finding it later in life, which one is like, in as much as we say finding it early in life is kind of better, but is it in all cases people find it early in life? And even when they find it later in life, do they actually come to the fullness of it? You know, which would you prefer? Let me put it that way, and I'll tell you which I prefer.
I think I would rather find my purpose early in life, because it won't make sense if I don't find it early in life and I find it later. And let's say I've been doing what is not in line with my purpose. So to me, it would be like a waste of time. Yes, it's a good thing that I found my purpose at the end, but I would also feel the pain of, I should have found it since like when I was young, or when I had the chance to do this and all that. But at the same time, purpose is a big thing for me. It's a very big thing for me. I don't even think that you keep finding your purpose, like stage by stage. It keeps increasing. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. At times you can even find things that, how do I put it now? Like, it's your purpose, but then it's like another subdivision of the purpose. So
it's like you doing, sorry to cut you short, it's like you doing mass communication. You can be a newscaster, you can be journalistic writing, but then it's also communication. You can be presenting, you can be on social media, you can be an influencer, you can be a fashion, whatever. And somehow you can, you know, some people just like talking, and before you know it, because they like talking, they are influencers already. You know, before you know it, they're doing like maybe presenting and all this stuff. So it's all interwoven. Like there's so many branches, but then you can just try to master everything as you go along and learn new things. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I also believe that finding your purpose in life, according to different researchers, actually helps to be happier. in the sense that it can give you're more comfortable, and it can take away the spirit of envy or jealousy, because you're happy in whatever you do. You're happy making news, you're creating something, and it gives you so much joy. You don't care if somebody else is a doctor or if somebody else is making so much money, because you're happy where you had. I read somewhere and it was like, when you do what you love doing, even if they don't pay you for it, you still keep doing it, because you're not doing it because of the money. You're just doing it because whether they tell you to do, it's just like reading a book. Like, whether somebody tells me to read or not, I'll probably read a book. Like, okay, the kind of book I will read will be different, because obviously, except if I need to study for a particular course or the other, but then you will still read anyway, like, that kind of thing. And you still learn something because you love learning and all that. So I think that finding your purpose makes you happier. And I think it's also good for the economy. If each and every one of us at least find joy in whatever we do. And when it comes to, so yes, now this is another question. People that find themselves doing what they don't like doing, but somehow because of their financial situation are stuck in that process or in whatever they're doing currently, how do they navigate? How should they navigate that part? I know it might be a difficult one for you, but yeah, give it a go.
Okay, so if you find yourself in, you just find yourself in that situation because you need something from that situation.
Mm-hmm.
For me, because you need something from that situation, you have to keep going. Like, you can't, because there's no other option. Let's put it like that. So you have to like continue doing it. Okay, it will seem, yes, definitely, it's very uncomfortable doing what you don't like just because you need something from it. But then at the same time, if it's a long-term thing, there would, at a point, definitely, there would be something about it that you like. Something, you might not really so fancy it, but then at least, this little thing gives you joy when you do this whole uncomfortable thing. So I feel like if you just stick to the little thing that makes you happy, you won't have to think about the fact that, oh, I'm uncomfortable in this thing, but I have to keep doing it because I need something from it. So that's what I think.
I also think that, like they say, like anything worth doing is worth doing well. And I agree with your comment. The fact that it actually, let me put this in there, the fact that it actually gives you money, I think is enough to be happy about it. Yes. But then, have you found situations where you meet people, like maybe they're like customer service personnel, and for some weird reason, you just feel like this person is a customer service person? Like, as in, they are not just acting in that customer service way, like they are not just doing what they're supposed to do, and they are not just nice, How do you now, like, sometimes they have found themselves in that situation, they don't know they ought to change, somehow they've not been able to adapt into the role, but they're just hanging in there and they're not giving their best to the role. What advice would you give them?
Okay, sorry, please, could you repeat?
Yeah, so you find people in situations such like they are customer service personnel, and you just, like, maybe in banks, I don't know, maybe you've met people like that, and you just be like, this person is not supposed to be a customer service person, like, and everybody probably complains about that person, but for some weird reason, they're still in the job and they're just hanging out there, probably because that's their only source of living, or, and they're just thinking. And what advice would you give that kind of person?
Okay, so
somehow the money is not enough. Somehow the money is not enough to keep the person happy, to actually give their best to the job, at least,
Yeah. Okay, so if I get what you said, you said a customer care personnel, for example, that is in a job and is not really getting, okay, to people, it shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Maybe it should be working as something bigger.
Maybe an admin person.
Let's say.
Like, because
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I know someone that was meant to be in a higher position, but then the person was in a lower position and the person wasn't getting paid like properly. And then I know how painful it is to see people that you feel like they shouldn't be in this position, but then they are there and you are here. Okay. But then for her, then what she used as, would I say, a weapon then was just talking to God about it.
Okay.
Yes, God, I know I'm here, but I feel there's a reason why I'm here. I'm here because you know I'm here, and I'm here. And then other people are this, other people are that, and then I'm not even getting paid properly. But then she just kept on talking to God about the fact that she was in this position. She was, let's say, she was not comfortable being in that position, as a matter of fact. But then she just had to be there. To her, there was a reason for her to be there. Maybe God was preparing her for something bigger, or it was just meant to be a phase to challenge her that, okay, you are here, prove yourself that you should be in a bigger position. So I feel in that kind of situation, you shouldn't compare yourself to other people that, okay, why can't I be here? Why is this person here? You should know the fact that you're not just there because they just kept you there. There is a reason why you're there. Because God can't be unfair, like for God can't be unfair. There's no reason for God to be unfair. So there's a reason why you're there. So I don't feel you should feel bad about being in that position. You should just know there's a reason why you're there.
Yeah, you know, like I did my like primary school and secondary school in Nigeria and all that. You know, there's some teachers that you just like, you don't even know why this person is a teacher. Like, they are not just calm enough to teach. Like, they just do funny things and just be like, which kind of teacher is it? And there are some classes that you've been in, just like, oh my God, this teacher is very good at what he does, he or she does. Like, they are just good. And most times everybody likes that teacher. Not because they don't beat or something, but because they're just, when they explain, you just understand and everybody understands what they're teaching, you know, and you just wonder, why is this person a teacher, you know, and this other person a teacher and everything. Yeah. So I feel like, and people like that, somehow, that's how they're going to retire. They're just going to do, and I believe that sometimes it's because they're doing what they probably don't like doing it. They just stuck with it and they've not found something else. And then sometimes I think as people grow older, they might find it difficult to change careers. You know, like they have other things that they need to do, other factors that is eating into them. They have finances and everything that they need to take care of. And so I think that the core message for today, or the core conversation, is that we can find joy in whatever we do, in spite of what we think we should be doing. And every stage and every phase is a learning process. And our purpose will always evolve as we grow older and as we learn new things. And for me, I would just say that, like, even if it is not what we want, we should be happy in it. Yeah. And we should find something that keeps us happy. It could be finances. That's something to be happy about. Like, so there are so many people that can't even buy food, not to talk of clothing or shelter or whatever. Do you get? So money, I think, is enough to be happy, even if it's the fact that you wake up in the morning and you have a place to go. I think is also enough to be happy, you know. And then every other thing will work out itself. And moreover, I also feel like sometimes you can use the money that you earn from a particular work job that you seemingly don't like to get the other one that you like to prepare or learn the skill that will take you to where you really want to be. Yes, and that is one's purpose in life, the same with their occupation. And finally, is one's purpose in life the same with their occupation? I would say that yes, it is, and yes, it is not, but you can find joy in your occupation, and yes, you can be everything that you want to be what you're doing right now can lead you to where you want to be. Whatever you do is a learning process, is not a destination. I don't think that there's anything called destination. I feel like life is a journey, and every day, every time, whatever job you are in, whatever role you're playing, whatever status, is a learning process. Everything is a learning curve because nothing is permanent. It changes. Even your role as a mother changes. Your role as a father changes. Like there is a phase whereby you're there to teach, and there's a phase whereby you're there to learn, and there's a phase whereby you're being taught as well. Even by your children, you're being taught. So I feel like in life, everything is a process, and we learn every day. Yes, that is everything we have to share right now on is one's purpose in life the same with your occupation. What do you think? Yes, leave your comment and like and subscribe and tell us what you think on is one's purpose in life the same with your occupation. Closing remarks, and we can go.
Finding yours, I would do it this way, like you're going to look for something, and then there could be traffic, maybe a bad, or you even get where you want to buy something and not see that particular thing come across in finding your purpose. You can find your purpose and you will see people that would mock you and say, how would you even think of something like this? How would you say this is your purpose or something like that? And then you would feel down. You would feel, at times, you won't even feel motivated. You feel like, okay, this thing is not for me. But talking to God is key when you want to find your purpose. And then limits. Yes, it is good to hear what other people have to say, like hear opinions, but then limits know the kind of opinions you hear. Don't focus on the opinions that would make you feel bad about what you want to do. Focus on the ones that motivate you to do this, and just talk to God. Talk to God mainly. Don't leave God when it comes to finding your purpose, because He made you. So definitely He knows why you're here, what you're going to fulfill before the whole end game comes. So finding your purpose, you should consider know the kind of person you are, know what makes you happy. Don't focus on negative opinions and talk to God. Those are the 4 major things I would like people to relate with when they want to find their purpose.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much, Didi. And my name is Afolakemi. This is Peculiar Styles Lifestyle TV channel. And then definitely remember to like, subscribe, and also drop your comment. What do you think? Is your purpose in life the same with your occupation, what you do? Tell us what you think, and also the challenges that you might be facing. And stay tuned. We'll be right back again next week with another interesting conversation. Thank you. Bye.